Hey everyone, this is Mike at MT Worlds. I wanted to take some time and do a tutorial on our game. I was actually searching on YouTube looking for maybe some player-made tutorials, some other video creators, and there wasn't any. So I figured I would take a little bit of time and make a tutorial. And I mean, obviously there's in-game tutorials here where it'll walk you through the basics of moving around the camera, setting up routes, doing, building buildings, that sort of thing. But I know a lot of people like viewing this stuff in video format. I sure do. Let's do an easy, predefined game. You can also set up a custom game. I probably should have showed you that. But on the main screen, if you go to custom game, you can actually set how many companies you want, how many stars, if you want to start in a random system or on, in the Sol system and with Earth and everything else. So in a predefined game, you start with the familiar Sol system. So you have, you have Earth, Venus, Mercury, everything else. And if you are unfamiliar with the game, let me kind of explain what your goal is. So it is 2050. The Earth is running out of resources, and people need to get off of the Earth, and we need to find other places to mine raw materials and harvest food, get water, and generally just spread our species out throughout the stars. So you're going to start here on Earth. The game starts with Earth, the Moon, Luna, and Mars. So those three colonized. Later on during the game, you'll spread out to all these different stars. There's some more habitable worlds. First things first, what you want to do at the beginning of the game, you're always going to have your home plan, no matter if you're starting in Sol or if you're starting in a random system. You want to get a gate on your home planet, starport. So every time a ship takes off, it needs a gate to take off from. So let's just buy any gate. It doesn't matter which one. You'll see when you buy a gate, it says, are you sure you want to lease this gate? It tells you how much the upfront cost is and then how much it's going to be each month to rent that gate. So that's just one of the deciding factors if you want to tell you how many gates you need on a planet. And let's buy one on the Moon as well. So we'll set up our first route between Earth and the Moon. Let's go ahead and do that now. So you go to routes, you're a new route, add stop, and you're gonna click the planet you want to go from to, and this is just gonna go back and forth. So if you have just two stops in there, it'll just keep going back and forth. If you have three, it'll obviously go to 0, 1, 2, and then back to 0, 1, 2. So that's good for now. There's other options in the route screen. If you click your route, there's other options in here. You can actually set the pickup rules. So if you don't want to pick up any, or if you want to unload a certain amount, you could do it that way. But really, you don't need to worry about that 90% of the time. So just don't even touch that for now. I'll get into that a bit more later. Okay, so now we have our route. Let's go ahead and view the supply and demand. This is where you'll be making a lot of your decisions at. So if we go to the Moon here, and you see this graph here, this is the supply and demand graph. Anything above 0 or stuff that is in demand. Anything below 0 here is stuff that's in supply. So on the Moon, you could see that we want food. You can see what is what here. So we want food, water, and they're demanding machinery, and colonists, of course. So let's set up a route that has food and water. That seems like a nice, easy thing to do here. So we'll go to our ships. We're going to go ahead and buy a new ship. So you open up the ship screen, use this button here, purchase new ship. Let's look at the different ships. So you have your price here, and you can click on these, obviously. You have your price. It tells you how many cargo bays each ship has. It tells you a system speed relative to other ships. The turnaround days is how long it takes to how long it takes between a ship landing and departing again. If it goes interstellar, you'll see a warp speed here. And then you also have your fuel usage. This is intra-system, so inside of a system. Fuel usage, these two, so if it's empty, and then how much it is full. This is the interstellar fuel, so it actually uses a different fuel for interstellar. Don't worry about that now, I'll get into that later with you guys. Reliability, so the higher the better. That's how often your ship will break down. And then the cargo maintenance is another important number. This is how much maintenance costs you're going to incur while you're carrying your cargo. So if we look at this ship, you'll see that the upfront cost is a little more, but you have more cargo bays, and your fuel usage is actually slightly better per cargo bay. Let's go ahead and we will buy that. I'll get 2 dry climate controlled bays. Now these are the ones that carry food, consumer goods, rare resources, refugees, and then we'll also get 15 liquid storage bays. And this carries water or lithium fuel. Now you'll notice there's 2 different buttons here. There's one for plus or minus 5, and there's just plus or minus 1. So you can actually control how many bays you want. So if you just want to do 1 at a time, you can do that, or you can do 5 at a time. If you hold down shift, you can actually increase it by 10. So you can get rid of 10 at a time using this. Hit order ship. You can also hit launch immediately. I won't do that for now, just so I can show you guys a few more things. So launch. That ship is now ordered. I start time again. I hit a pause for a little bit. The time controls are right here. So you have the pause and the slow down, speed up time. And then you'll see the date here. Okay, so you'll see the AI. We have one AI competitor here. He's already started a ship going back and forth. It's fine, not a big deal. Now we're just going to wait until our ship is delivered, which it actually already is. So now we're back in the ship screen. We're going to actually start the ship now. So normally if you hit, launch immediately, it'll just launch right away. If you didn't do that, or if you stopped a ship or something, you're going to have to do it manually. So go ahead in here, you got to click your ship, and then you'll see this button here. This is your status. Just hit start, and now you'll see it switch to stop. You can stop if you want to. This is your current ship status. So actually what it's doing right now. So it's loading, unloading, it's on Earth. You can get some more information here, like the lifetime fuel costs, maintenance costs. And there goes our ship. It's in transit. Boom. Just made about $5,500. Good. One complaint I get a lot from new players is that the UI is too big. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix that real quick. We just put in a scalable UI about a month ago. So if you go into menu, options, other settings, you can actually scale down the UI a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it down to like 0.85 just so you guys can all see it still. So we'll wait. We'll wait for our ship to be available again. Now, if you hover over your ship, you can tell exactly what it's carrying. So this is a really nice tool. So if you hover over this, you see it's carrying 10 of the dry climate controlled slots. It's carrying 10 rare resources. That's the yellow icon you see there. It also gives you a distance to the destination, so 0.015 astronomical units, and how much disrepair it has. So I'll get into disrepair a bit later. So as you'll see, it's going to deliver rare resources for a nice profit there. Now if we want to see how much it actually made, say we just missed that like we did because I didn't see it, you can actually go into finances. Alright, and over here you'll have a route and a ship filter. So we're going to filter on just this one ship. Now we could see that in the last 30 days, you can actually switch the number of days that we're looking at. Last 30 days we made $1,473 on rare resources fares. So now we know how much we made there. And there goes our ship again. Now it's carrying 10 and 15 full cargo. And let's see how much money we made. And you see it's a little bit less. So in this game, everything is dynamic. Everything. as far as all the goods here. So as food and water are delivered, this demand actually creeps down. Here, I'll speed up the game a little bit so you can see. Yeah, you see like the machinery was just delivered by the AI, it looks like. And you can see it creep down. You see the rare resources just creep down until somebody picked it up, and then it shot back up. Yeah, it's all a true, living, breathing economy, which is really cool. And you notice that, when you start delivering passengers out to Luna, that your demand for water, food, it all starts going up and up and up. So you need to, you need to balance the amount of population that you're bringing into a planet with the amount of food and water that are available there. Alright, what else should I show you here? Let me show you launching a rocket real quick, because rockets work a little bit differently than a normal ship. So if we go into purchase new ship again, you'll see we have the Sparrow rocket and Neptune rocket. These are the first two rockets available in the game. So let's just go ahead and grab one of these Neptune rockets. We're going to fill it up with, let's just do passengers. So we'll grab passengers, and we're going to launch immediately. You'll see here that this is the route that it's assigned to, and this is the manufacturing planet. So it's assigned to the Earth-Luna direct route, and it's going to be manufactured on Earth. We could manufacture on Luna, but obviously there's no passengers waiting to go to Earth from Luna, so it's kind of silly to do. So we're going to order it on Earth and have it go on this route. Launch immediately. I have that checked. Order ship. It's on order. You'll see it on order launch. So let's just speed up the game just to get through this for a second. Loading, unloading. And there it goes. There's our little rocket. It's carrying 10 passengers. Alright. And that's a nice little quick profit. Now, you'll see that ship disappeared. So, rockets are one-time use only. So they launch, and then they get destroyed when they reach their destination. There's no reusing them. This, we don't have the special reusable rockets that SpaceX has in 2017, but 2050 we don't have it. Anyways, so you want to use those in special circumstances. I use them a lot for early further colonies. So say something like Europa or Callisto, Ganymede around Jupiter got colonized. I would send, rockets there mainly for the first year or so, just to boost its population, boost its machinery levels, and so forth. So that's kind of the best use I found for rockets. I know a lot of the people use them in other situations too, for quick influxes of money, that sort of thing. Or if a planet's about to die out, rockets are usually faster than your other ships. So you can launch one of those out if a planet's on the edge of starving. Launch a rocket out full of food, and maybe 5 rockets or so. You probably just one wouldn't make too much of an impact. But give it a nice quick influx of food while you wait for your other ships to build and everything else. You'll see here, if you look down below, this is the weekly surplus deficit of how much it consumes versus how much it creates. So food, it's losing 0.17 a week. Water, losing 0.24, and so on. If you hover over that, you can see exactly what the production and consumption is. So you see food, zero production completely. This also tells you what affects the production and consumption. So you see production is affected by planetary habitability, development, population. Consumption's affected by just basically population. So the more people you have, the more it consumes food, water, consumer goods, the basics. And if you hover up here, you'll see all your different tooltips. So there's habitability. That was one of the main factors for food, of course. You can also hover over the icon. This feature actually isn't in the current patch, so this is kind of a sneak preview here, but you can see the market prices and the market prices when adjusted for your company reputation. So if you deliver these goods, this is how much money you would get for each of these. So you can tell exactly what you would get. Or it says currently no demand for something that has no demand. So you see that they really want food, and they're willing to pay me $417 per unit to deliver it. Water, it's only $124. Here's your company reputations. If you hover over this, it tells you exactly what all the companies' reputations are here. Yes, machinery. Machinery is a little bit different of a commodity. So it caps at 4,000 on each planet. This is kind of simulating when there's enough machinery for a planet to produce its own machinery. So that's kind of what that 4,000 limit is simulating there. So once you deliver 4,000 machinery, there's no sense in delivering anything else because they're not going to pay for it, they're not going to use it. You'll also notice that machinery is installed over time. So you see here on the moon, this is your waiting column, so this is how much is actually on the planet right now waiting to be consumed. So you'll see machinery is at 46, and it's going to tick down, and then it's going to get added to this machinery up here. So it doesn't happen instantly. As soon as you deliver machinery, it doesn't instantly get installed. It takes a little bit of time to be installed. Alright, so that's an important thing to keep in mind there. And you'll see that what happened here. Europa got colonized. So the new colonies start with no gates, and the only thing you could do with these new colonies is land rockets here. You could go ahead and upgrade the spaceport. I think this is at spaceport 1, so it's good. Let's see here. Yeah, it's going to need to be at level 3 until there's gates here. So you're saying, are you sure you want to upgrade the spaceport in Europa for 45,000? Yes. Now we have a gate, and since we upgraded the spaceport, it automatically gave us one of the gates. These are surface ports. So at spaceport level 5, they actually turn the space into proper spaceports. When it's a surface port, it costs twice as much fuel to depart or land a ship at those gates. So that's something else to keep in mind also. So when it gets to level 5, when it goes from 4 to 5, you'll see that actually no gates get added, but it goes up into space and the fuel costs are a lot cheaper. You can also subsidize a colony yourself. We don't have enough money to do that. It costs 300,000 right now. So we're not going to do that, but just keep in mind that you could subsidize a colony yourself if you need something colonized. Currently, it doesn't really give you any direct benefits except for opening up that market. So if you wanted access to the rare resources on Venus, which, Venus is not habitable at all, it's horrible, but there's a ton of rare resources there. So if you want access to that, you can try to colonize Venus and develop it yourself. Alright, so I've let the game play for a couple years. Here's something that you may come across. I have a route going out to Europa. It's bringing food and water. However, the food and water demand were satisfied. So if you hover over this, it'll tell you stockpile needs met with 96 units. So at some point there must have been 96 units or whatever it was at the time, and it dipped into supply instead of demand. So my ship decided, I'll just pick up this supply of food, since that's how the route is set. And we need to fix that. So this is on the Earth Europa direct route. You can see it on the left side. You can also click on your ship here, and it'll give you some of that same information. So we can just go ahead and click this little edit button here, and that'll bring us to the edit ship screen for that ship. Actually, we didn't really need to do that, did we? So let's go to open route. That'll open the route for this. So on Europa, we want to make sure that pickup rule, we do not want it to pick up food, and we do not want it to pick up water or machinery. So that's just something that you should probably do on some of your routes that might go into supply like that. So we'll do the same thing on Luna. So if we click on Luna, food, pick up none, water, pick up none. So just keep that in mind there. We'll put this on fast speed again. As you can see, I've set up a few different ships, a few different routes. We have stuff moving back and forth now. And let me skip forward a few more years here, and we can see how this develops. I can show you guys some more stuff. Alright, there's a couple more things I want to show you guys. So you'll see this little wrench icon clicking out here once in a while. This means that the ship needs repair. So if you hover over this again, you'll see the disrepair amount. It's at 22%. That's pretty high, so there's a 22% chance that this ship could break down. Now, when it's broken down, it'll automatically call for a repair ship. And these come from the medium and large maintenance hangars on planets. So you see this one, it's coming from Earth because that's the only place I have a medium maintenance hangar right now. It's going to come out here and repair the ship. We'll just speed up time so we can see this happen. There it goes, it's repairing. And then once it's repaired, the ship will go back on its way to its destination, which is Europa. So let's go ahead and build a maintenance hangar here on Europa. That will repair ships when they land here. Since it's a far out destination, that's usually a good idea on these long trips, just to be sure that you don't have too many ships out in the middle of space needing repairs. And we could upgrade that to a medium hangar later if we want to, but we won't do that now. I'm sorry, I kind of flew through that building a building too. So if you go to a planet, you'll see all these different spots here. This is the locations you could build surface buildings on. You also have these buttons over here, so this shows you what current buildings you have. So if you click on empty, it'll just select an empty space. You can use this back button to go back to the previous menu. So if you click on small maintenance shed, that'll select your maintenance shed that you have on there. You could do the same thing by clicking on here. Doesn't really make a difference which one you use. So if we want to, which we have the money, we might as well do it. We'll upgrade the maintenance hangar. Hovering over this tells you exactly what the building does. There we go. So we upgraded to a medium maintenance hangar now. Yeah, if you notice the satellites flying around here, it's kind of like a visual indication of how many people are on the planet. So right now Europa is 2.3 million, so there's a few satellites flying around there. But if we go to Earth, you'll see there's a ton of satellites. So what else? Let's look at the finances screen real quick. So I already kind of showed you this. You can get all of your income expenses here. You can actually filter just based on one route, or however you want to see the information. You can see exactly what the profits are for each route here. So you see I'm losing a little bit of money on the Mars route. Not that big a deal. It'll pick up eventually. You can also take out a loan or issue a bond here. So if you don't know a loan, you just pay back each month, just based on the percentage interest rate. The bond, you need to pay back a little bit each year based on the coupon rate, but then at the end of the term you need to pay back the entire amount. And then line of credit, you can just basically borrow some small amount of cash. You need to build up your credit rating as well. Reports are very useful to see how your company's doing over time, and how you're stacking up against the competition. So this is just the operating profits. Then you have the incomes, expenses. Monthly profits will show you each individual month instead of a rolling sum. You have net worth and cash on hand. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to load up a another save game I had that is already Interstellar, and I can kind of show you guys that how all that works. Alright, so here is a mid-game scenario I've been testing with. As you can see, it's on a random system, and we're about 2086. I haven't been playing the whole time. I've been simulating some of it. But we do have some interstellar stuff going on here. So in this other system, you'll see that there's this planet which already has 3 million people on it, and I colonized this planet as well. So I'm just kind of using this 2A as a drop-off and then transporting stuff to Shara 4. So let me show you how this works. So you need to take lithium crystals and refine them into dilithium fuel, and that's what you use on your ships to travel interstellar. So using this map down here, you can see dilithium crystals and then availability. So if we zoom out, we can see that this Sabic 6 has the crystals, and that's where we're getting our crystals from. So on here, there's already 3 large dilithium crystal mines, and we are producing 50 dilithium crystals, and there's 17,000 waiting. So I've been transporting these back to our home planet, Sabic 3, and I've been making dilithium fuel out of it. So on here, you'll see that there's waiting of 4,300 dilithium fuel, and it's making 11 every week. Basically, you're going to transport the dilithium crystals to where your dilithium fuel factory is. Now, if you're starting in a Sol system, the dilithium crystals are usually going to be found on Titan, which is a moon of Saturn. So then you're going to have to transport the dilithium crystals from Titan to Earth. Now, you won't be able to. You can't actually use dilithium fuel. You can't go interstellar until 2062. So the dilithium fuel creation is developed a few years beforehand, and it gives you a few years to kind of ramp up production in preparation for interstellar travel. Then you want to build a ship that is interstellar capable. So, for example, we'll take this Spacebus D530. You'll see it has a speed of 3, and it uses 1.9 dilithium fuel per light year. In order to travel interstellar, you don't need to put these liquid storage. These are actually used to transport either water or dilithium fuel between planets. This isn't where it spends. This isn't where it burns the dilithium fuel from. So don't bother putting that in there. It won't help you at all. As you can see, these ships are, well, it's kind of a bad example. They do have the water slots, but only because they're taking water to this system. But yeah, just know that wherever the ship departs from, it needs to have dilithium fuel. It'll take the dilithium fuel onto the ship and burn it automatically without you doing anything, without you needing to have the water slots on there. It won't need any of that. And then as long as you have enough fuel to get there and back, the ship will leave. So if you see it's saying, waiting for dilithium fuel, that either means, one, the destination is too far, you can't get enough dilithium fuel on your ship, or 2, there's not enough dilithium fuel waiting, so you just need to make more, and the ship will eventually launch. So that's kind of a quick dilithium fuel talk. Let me go over this map, the map options one more time, because I didn't really touch on this. So there's all these different map modes here. So you'll see population, that's the default one. There's also, habitability. So all of these options you can view in system view, or you can view them in galaxy view. So for instance, if you're on habitability, it'll show you the highest habitability planet. If you zoom out, this will show you the highest habitability planet rating in that system. So this is our home planet. Sabic 3 is really high. This one must have another high habitability. Yep, there's one with 88% right here. So that kind of gives you a easy to digest view. The same thing could be done for, like, where's rare resources? So here's rare resources availability. This will show you where you can find it pretty simply. You can zoom into the system, and then you can actually see, like, wow, this planet and moon have a ton of it. So same thing for everything else, you know. And you'll see on some of these that when you click, it brings up a whole, you know, sub-menu here, so you can see supply, demand, production. So this really helps a lot when you're trying to plan out where you want to go in interstellar space. Let's see. I think I just about covered everything. Their notifications are here, so if you see a pop-up, you can click on it here. You can actually click on the pop-up itself. That'll bring you to the location of it. You can open that and close it right there. You can actually hide the route lines and routes using these little boxes here. You can also hide the competitor ships using these boxes up here in ships. I think that's about everything. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but that should be plenty to get you guys started. And so please, I mean, if you have any questions, you know, feel free to post them below. Even better, post them on the Steam discussion boards. We're monitoring that all the time. So, yep. If you need anything else, just let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, everybody.